Hey, how are you? My name is Ospa Chimedza here on the Groove Deck, brought to you by Groove Magazine International. Today we are joined by a phenomenal young woman who is about to blow the music industry, not just in Zimbabwe but on the continent. Her name is Yoca. Hello, Yoca.
Hello, Zimbabwe. Hello, Groove Magazine. How you guys doing?
Well, you changed your name. Initially, when you started, you were using your full name, Yolanda Candice. When did this change happen?
The change happened just last month. It's a change that I felt was necessary with the direction that I wanted to take. So, in changing my genre, so to say, it also required of me to really take it more seriously. So, a change of name helped me to actually solidify exactly what it is I wanted to achieve.
Okay, but why Yoka though?
Yoca is just short for Yolanda Candice. The Yo from Yolanda, the Ka from Candice.
Okay, so does that make a difference in your presentation of your brand and yourself as an artist?
Not exactly. It's just a difference, just a change in name to just shorten it a bit. But really, it doesn't change who I've been and who I am.
So for those who might not know who you are and what you're about, can you just give us a brief background about Yoka, especially musically? When you started, what have you achieved, or who you've worked with so far, and then we move on.
Wow, okay, that's like a lot. Yoka is a 25-year-old singer. I wouldn't exactly box myself into one genre, but mostly R&B, soul, Afro pop, Afro soul. With my new single, it's more on the Afro soul side. I began music in 2009, singing in the church choir, and from then on, I recorded my first demo single in Norton with a producer called G Fingers. From there, I was discovered by Chris Chacha, who introduced me to Arzain, the beat maker. I made my first EP with him, which was four tracks. They did quite well for me. It got me a bit more exposure in terms of radio and more contacts. Uh, my song "Out of Place" caught the attention of an SA-based producer called Reefy, and he showed his desire to work with me, and I traveled to SA and we recorded a cover of a Winter Gordon song called Stimela, which did extremely well in terms of people accepting it because it has a more African influence. And we recorded Heartbeat of Time, which is a bit indie. A lot of people might not understand that kind of music, but the people who did really did appreciate it. And from then on, I've worked with a number of producers, and lately I've been working with the mix masters, particularly Sheza. He's an awesome producer, and yeah, we're working on a couple of projects with them now.
Okay. I've listened to some of your songs. There's that one particular one with DJ Philo. Is it Philo?
Yes.
Yeah. I can see that your vocals are very versatile, and you have this breathy, airy voice. Just to be on the technical side, for those who don't understand music, because I understand the technical. What is your vocal range, and what's your highest and lowest note?
I'm more of a mezzo soprano. I can hit really high notes, and I can go really low, which explains why I'm always shifting from genre to genre because with my vocal range, I can't really box myself. If I hear something that's a bit on the lower side, I can write a song to it and sing to it. And then if I get like a really high beat, I can still sing in that high range. So coming back to my new single, Bad Habits, it was a song that allowed me to flex between the high and low, my high and low range. So yeah, I guess you can say I've got a very wide range.
Yes, and of course, the main reason for this interview is actually bad habits. First of all, you wrote the song, so you are a songwriter.
Yes, I am. I am a
Okay,
songwriter.
so why bad habits?
This song is so personal to me. It came at a time where in my walk in the industry where I got to a point where I realized that I've made some decisions musically that I felt were a bit unfair to me, and I felt that I was being unfair to the people as well. So at the same time, I just thought those were kind of bad habits that I acquired in the industry for the past few years that I've been working on music. So it's basically on a personal level, it's basically me just saying to God, the giver of the gift, that, I have some bad habits and I'm trying to get back on track and to have a clear vision of where I want to go. But people might not understand it. So I need you to walk with me. But in that walk, please accept that, I have my cracks, I have my flaws, and they are bad habits. And then on a more larger scale, it's just basically, everyone, in whatever industry you are in, you probably have things that you probably are not happy with. Sometimes you stretch yourself a bit more than you'd expect yourself to stretch. So you need that one person, maybe that small group of people, or a particular person, as I said, that will keep you grounded, a person that you know that no matter what happens in the industry, no matter where I go, that person is still with me, irregardless of whatever bad habits I have acquired.
Okay, so that's so different from how I relate to the song because we got an exclusive pre-listen to the song,
Wow.
but well, our audiences have to listen to it when it drops. And when is it dropping, by the way?
On Friday, the 28th of August.
Okay, and which platforms are you utilizing to launch your song?
Um, so many platforms, online, radio, especially on radio. The song will premiere on the different radio stations: ZFM, Star FM, Power FM, and podcasts, and online, SoundCloud. We're hopefully wanting to push it as well to iTunes, and not just Zim, but also radio stations worldwide. So it's quite a big hustle.
Do you believe you have a hit?
As an artist, it's so difficult to answer that question. The people are the ones that determine whether it's a hit or not. But for me, I feel it's a bit unfair to say. I think it's a good song. Let me just keep it at that. It's a good song. You guys determine whether it's a hit or not. But personally, I think it's a good song.
Okay, so from bad habits, where are we going? Because we want to keep track of you and your career. So tell us what can we expect from Yoka for the now in the next few months of 2015, so that we know how we're going to see you in the future.
Expect more tracks that are very vibey, more tracks that are very deep and intense. I don't want to give up much. I'm also working with some other people. Don't want to give out their names as yet, but expect a lot from me. Expect a lot from me. I know from previous works, I've had those situations where I've released a song and then gone quiet. Especially, I released my last single in February, and I kept quiet up until this time because I was still trying to figure out myself, figure out my sound, as well as the name change and all that. That's when Bad Habits came about. So now I'm not in that zone of releasing something and then going quiet. Just expect a lot from me.
Okay, before we go, the artwork. Okay, for me, when I asked you about bad habits, how I related to bad habits, okay, on a personal level, it was more on a relationship side for me. And the artwork was the one that actually evoked that emotion in me because it looked like some serial killer movie or some thriller, and or just that way, because the artwork, just tell us why that specific artwork.
I picked that specific artwork because the song it has some sense of mystery about it as well. Like you said, you interpreted it from a different way that I wrote it to be. So it has that sense of suspense in it, and that darkness. Like you've seen the handprint that's there. You don't know what's going on in the car, whether it's a handprint of someone dying or something going on in there. You don't know. So it's basically just more of more of getting the audience to realize how wide you can interpret the song based on just the artwork, because you don't know what it's about, but you can interpret it on a personal level. It's not just one of those, I give you a song, you're supposed to take it as this. No.
Okay. We're trying to avoid very generic questions, but because you are an artist whose sound is very different from what is commercially acceptable in Zimbabwe, how are you expecting to break into the Zimbabwean market? Or you are going the other way, like many who have of late who are deciding to break into other markets first, and then because it's more whatever sound or whatever product they're giving out is more acceptable outside. How do you plan to do that?
I've decided to use a two-way a two-way style of breaking into the market. One side is, as you've mentioned, that breaking into other markets, because as you said, in Zim we have what we call a standard set of style that is acceptable on an artistic level. So I have a sound that is actually more readily acceptable in other markets other than here. And then for Zim, I've also decided, instead of just being that artist that's pushing outside, people also want to know that she's out, so that we don't have that situation where people, when you've reached the level or beyond that what you've expected, then people start to claim, oh no, she's our artist, she's from our country. No, I'll make something as well that Zim people are able to relate to. For instance, this Bad Habits song. Mm-hmm. It's not exactly the mold of Zim music, but it still does fit into it. I hope.
Okay. Okay. All right. So before we go, what do you want the fans to know? What do you want the audiences to know right now? Because we are going to talk to you. We'll keep up with you, definitely. So we want just last remarks before the launch of the release of your song, because we're really excited, really excited.
Be very open-minded. That's what I can tell my fans and everyone else who listens to Yoca, and not just Yoca, every other artist out there. Be very open-minded. I am expecting, a lot of artists don't put that out, but I am expecting a lot of constructive criticism, because based on what I've done before and what I've done now is pretty different. But it's all in love, and I really hope you enjoy the song. You send it to your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, everybody, your friends, your enemies. Let them hear the song. So yeah. That's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you, Yolanda. Yoca. We have to get used to saying Yoca, right?
Yeah, get used to saying Yoca.
And it's Yoca, capital letter Y and capital letter C, right?
Yeah.
So that when we're writing, we get that right.
Well, actually, it's Yoca, Y, capital letter Y, and then everything else is in small.
Oh, okay, cool, cool. All right, thank you. We've been talking to Miss Yolanda Candice, aka Yoca. Actually, that's what she wants to be called, Yoca. And she's going to be bringing to us, the fans, the audiences, the people who want to grow with her, Bad Habits, which will drop on the 28th of August 2015. We're pretty excited. And we keep following the beat of the nation till the next time. Bye.
Groove Dick, the beat of the nation.